my friends, and welcome back to the Midway. Today we're talking about VTuber drama, except not really. We're literally talking about really important things like racism and fatphobia, and why you, watching a celebrity and an entertainer, should maybe learn to take a step back if your favorite does something wrong. Welcome to Everybody Deserves a Second Chance, but maybe not from you. I'm gonna lay it out right in the beginning. Please do not spread any hate to anyone that I talk about in this video, or me. You might not like what I say, and I might not like what you say, and that's perfectly fine, but we can still be kind and learn and grow from each other. And with that being said, let's get right into it. The other week, Enna Alouette and Kyo Kaneko, both from Nijisanji, did a collab stream together. Everything seemed to be going fine. These two are very playful together, and sometimes they have banter, but they really get along very well and have a very entertaining stream. Near the end of the stream, however, Enna made a few comments, particularly about the way that Kyo speaks and how the, quote, accent he has is hard to imitate at times. You can watch a clip of this moment on Twitter and probably somewhere on YouTube, but I like this article because it explains what happened without trying to exactly repeat it word for word. The article specifies that while streaming alongside Kyo, Enna commented that it was difficult to impersonate his accent because it, quote, kinda tells me you maybe listened to too much Snoop Dogg, unquote, and also quipped about eating chicken. I did watch the clip, and I'd like to add that Enna also imitated what her impersonation of Kyo would be in that moment, talking about the chicken and walking down the street and yelling out to another person. And to put it extremely clearly, Enna also gave her imitation of Kyo in a voice that was not her original voice, that sounded very much like how a piece of media would stereotypically depict a black man. Kyo had an obvious immediate reaction to what Enna was saying. His model's eyes got really big, and he said something along the lines of hoping that the wrong side of Twitter wouldn't get a hold of what she had just said. He also started to read out super chats and kind of try to move the conversation forward, but Enna seemed to really want him to explain what had just happened because obviously he had a reaction and she seemingly didn't know what was going on. Later on, a few hours after the collab, I believe, Enna tweeted, "Hey guys, Kyo explained to me about something that I ignorantly said and was culturally unaware of. I'm really sorry I disappointed you guys and myself with my insensitive and ignorant comment on a certain stereotype. Not knowing and not having malicious intent is not an excuse." That last sentence is very important in my opinion. A few days later, Enna also brought up this moment on her own stream, saying that she was very embarrassed about that moment, that she messed up very badly. She was super insensitive and ignorant on a cultural stereotype and put her friend in an uncomfortable situation. She also said, quote, "Even though I had no malicious intent or anything, it was very wrong and 100% racist." We're gonna go into this a little bit more, but I wanna draw a parallel quickly. Now, that specific collab between Kyo and Enna happened on October 26th. A few days before that, on October 21st, Taylor Swift released a music video for Antihero. And while of course the Swifties felt well fed, some also noticed and called in Taylor on one specific scene. That's right, we're talking about the scale here that shows the word fat on it and not a number. This article from BuzzFeed News explains that this short clip from the music video saw Taylor standing shamefully on a scale that read out fat, while the other version of herself shook her head in apparent disapproval. This tweet from Shira Rose went viral. It reads, "Taylor Swift's music video where she looks down at the scale where it says, quote, fat is a shitty way to describe her body image struggles. Fat people don't need to have it reiterated yet again that it's everyone's worst nightmare to look like us." Now we will be getting into the aftermath of both of these situations, on what Enna did, on what Taylor Swift did. But before that, I wanted to take a moment and ask you to internally reflect on your initial reaction to these things. Personally, I am a woman, I am bisexual, and I am a VTuber. So you might not know from the VTubing skin, but I am a person of color. There are many things about my life that are marginalized. There are many things about my life that people consider political, when to me it's just me trying to exist. I went through a phase in my life where when people didn't understand why something was racist or sexist, it would make me mad, and I wouldn't be able to look past that. I wouldn't be able to understand why someone couldn't take the time to understand the things that I need to understand just because I exist in this form. I think I've come a long way since then, and I'm not saying that if you get really mad at those things that you're a bad person either, but I am saying that I think that there is a more collaborative way for people on all sides of every fence to get along and learn from each other, and that starts with understanding that no one is going to have the same knowledge that you do. You have not lived my life, I have not lived your life, and I hope in this video I can help you understand a few of the things that I know a lot about, and maybe in the comments you can teach me some things I don't know about too. Here's my TLDR on these situations. Enna said things that were racist toward black people, and that's really not cool. She said and imitated stereotypes that are used against Black men in at least American media, but I believe in other media too, as I did more reading into this. And whether or not she was super aware of those stereotypes or meaning to be racist, I do believe that by her being able to imitate to that degree, she had to have been at least subconsciously aware of the stereotypes. No matter how it happened, the fact is that it did happen and it hurt many people. So to me, I look at that situation and I'm like, hey, you did a bad. Doing a bad does not make you a bad person necessarily. But the fact is, you did a bad. And I think that you should do something to address that you did that and address how you're gonna move forward and not do it again and learn from that. So let's take a look at what Enna did, what many of her fans did, and what other people did in response to that. Perhaps unsurprisingly, because I told you a little bit earlier, Enna apologized over the insensitive and ignorant comment on stream. I read you this first tweet that happened a few hours after the collab, and her second tweet about it read, "All I can say is I will make sure I'm more mindful of my words, mindset, and behavior. If I ever make you uncomfortable, I understand if you need to step away from me and my platform. I promise I will do better through my actions." I'm going to say this a lot tonight, but please remember, I do not want you to spread any hate. In fact, the opposite. I am making this video because I truly think that I could help you, no matter what side of the fence you're on, get a little bit closer to understanding people on a different part of the fence. I read this and I thought that this apology was fine. It didn't make me feel super great about what happened, and it didn't make me feel super confident about the future. And I think that's fair. What I did do in response to these tweets though was keep reading about what had happened. And I did that specifically because I am in the VTubing space. I care about the space a lot and I want to be able to understand how it works from all different sides of it. But mostly I kept reading different tweets and into the situation because I am not Black. And no matter how much I can toot my own horn in terms of my skills and PR and understanding other people, I will never understand what it's like to be Black. And therefore, what Enna did and the aftermath and her apology is not for me to accept. My role in this situation is to learn from it and help support my Black friends and Black community members, because those are the people that are hurt by this. And to be quite honest, this is why I took so long to record this video. It's been a few weeks now. Enna did something wrong, but what made me more mad is how many people on the internet thought it was okay to forgive her and tell her that what she did was not racist or in no way even bad just because they like her. Here's one tweet from Tiefully on Twitter who says, quote, "I'm so tired of this VTuber drama, you guys," crying emoji, unquote. "You mean racism? Imagine how tired we are." This tweet embodies a lot of what I saw in the last few weeks, as my timeline was full of VTubers with icons of white passing models or just white people said things like, "Enna, it's okay. I'm so proud of you for growing and learning. You don't have to apologize because we know that you're a good person inside." And I saw those juxtaposed with tweets from other people who have Black appearing models or said in their tweet that they are Black, said, "Hey, that was not okay, and I'm really sick of seeing my white mutuals say that it was." While there are unfortunately too many tweets that I could show you, this is the one I decided to show you from KilotheVTuber. Let's give it a watch.
Someone said something racist. Got called out for it. Tired of always hearing about it. And you know what? Me too. Every day I wake up, I'm reminded that no matter what I do, the color of my skin puts me and folks like me at risk. Because it's a system, right? It's exhausting. Living in a world like this. Honestly, I would rather not be here, but here I am. I have no choice in the matter. I use VTubing as an escape, as much as you. But we're still people living in the real world. Being a big mutant lizard does not stop me from being Black. And all the racism that comes with it. So sorry, not sorry at all. But I don't sympathize that when you say you're tired of hearing about it. I've been tired my whole damn life. So, you want to stop hearing about it? Then let's start fixing some stuff, huh?
Kilo has the best point, and I do think especially in this case, like, this shouldn't come from my mouth. It doesn't matter that I'm a POC too, or that I've been marginalized in different ways. This incident is about Black people. It's about the talented Black VTubers who could have seen what Enna said, looked at the Nijisanji roster, seen basically no one with any skin remotely dark in a model, and just felt that hurt inside. So when other people were flooding the timeline saying, oh, stop talking about the drama, Enna's such a good person, it doesn't even matter, those are the people that I felt anger toward, and I think that a lot of people felt anger toward, more than even to Enna herself. At this point, I hope that you agree with me, whether that's a new agreeance or not, that when someone fucks up, if you're not in the group that that person's currently fucking over, you do not get to have the main voice in that matter. If you don't agree with me there, you might still agree with me for the rest of the video, and I still have love for you, but I won't understand, and that's okay too. Before we take a look at what else Enna said about the situation, which I thought was good on her, I'm gonna show you a little bit more of Kilo, because I do want to make a video about POC content creators and celebrities and exposure, and how we do a really shitty job of paying attention to marginalized creators outside of moments of hurt. But before I can get to that video, I can at least do this right now. Kilo, as you heard from their own mouth, is a Black VTuber, a monster VTuber, and a freaking skilled, amazing artist. And I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't see that Kilo existed until he made that video we just watched. And while it sucks that I found him in a moment of sadness, and that their content of like joy and happiness wasn't as far reaching as that video, now that I'm here, I'm freaking loving his shit, so you should take a look at it too.
Yeah, I made this model myself. Arms down.
He's so skilled, look at it.
Up, ready for a fight.
Look how good it looks.
Put my hands on my hips.
I wouldn't want to be in a fight.
Then arms crossed.
But yeah, such an amazing model. Kilo does a lot of art streams, a lot of fun just chatting streams. Did a really cool like candy ranking one around Halloween time. Please check them out if you haven't. Celebrate a creator who is super entertaining and kind-hearted and skilled, and of course support marginalized creators when you find them because of sad stuff, but don't support them just because you've decided you need your marginalized support token. He is honestly amazing. All right, so let's wrap up the Enna situation. As I mentioned earlier, Enna did bring this up on her own accord in a solo stream a few days later. I did watch that part of the stream myself, and this article does a nice job of explaining when Enna received an outpouring of support on social media from her aloe peeps, she tried to quell the chorus of hearts and messages from those not affected. She stated, even though I had no malicious intent or anything, it was very wrong and 100% racist. She asked for no one to try to justify her comments and called it a quote wake-up call for her behavior on stream. I'm on a public platform with very large reach. I'm very aware when I make apologies or when any influencer makes an apology. It sounds like it's for everyone, but it's not, which is why I'm telling you guys to hold back on your hearts and saying supportive things to me right now. I'm talking to the people who I affected and hurt. If you are not a person who isn't directly affected by it, please don't go around saying, we forgive you, people make mistakes. This is not the time, and this is not a situation where anyone gives any justification to me. Please stop. I'm going to make sure I'm very mindful from now on about how I think, how I act, and what I say. Maybe I should have said it now instead, but at this point in the video, hopefully you understand and agree that if you are not the one that got screwed over, you shouldn't be accepting apologies or making excuses. I like to think that everyone can recognize that there's at least one point in your life where you fucked up, and hopefully the people who care about you as a person and care about you living your truest self, because you want to be a good person, right? You want to have a positive effect on other people. Hopefully the people around you called you in when you did your fuck up, and hopefully you're a better person for it. So don't deny someone that opportunity just because you like them. Rose-tinted glasses, not really talked about in a good way for good reason. All right, Faye, cool. Did you forget about Taylor Swift? Nope, back to the Taylor Swift situation. The Antihero music video actually had the scene with the scale removed as of October 26th, so about 5 days later. I thought they had actually edited the scene so that the scale just doesn't have a reading at all instead of just cutting it out, but someone tell me what happened there. I'm actually not quite sure. The point is, it was changed. And this tweet from Lucy Wald I think is a great explainer for some people who might not have understood why. It is possible to appreciate Taylor Taylor Swift and Midnight as an artist, and Taylor Swift should have done better because even if it was relatable and an intrusive thought, it is damaging and fatphobic. Listen to fat people when they tell you it is. Just like I've been preaching at you for the past however minutes, if you're not in the party involved, it is not your business to accept an apology or say that it's okay or actually not offensive. And I truly believe that you taking a step back and realizing that is not harmful. It's really not going to hurt your life. You might not understand it at first. And I think that's the whole point. The whole point is that you don't understand because you're not part of that group. But what harm comes to you if you choose to believe someone when they say they are hurt instead of telling them that they just shouldn't feel hurt? The only inconvenience that happens to you is having to learn and having to maybe quell those feelings, because not knowing something can feel embarrassing, and not knowing or understanding can make you feel like you are not intelligent. But perhaps you can take that as an opportunity to learn, to expand your skill set, to expand your knowledge, or you can learn to, recognize that your value doesn't have to rely on knowing everything. Or perhaps you can just recognize that no one's gonna know everything, because there's always someone smarter than you. So you might as well do your best and have your value rely in other things, if and when you can. One other thing I'd like to talk about, in this particular situation, I think there are very nuanced levels of understanding when it comes to fat phobia. Some people don't think that fat phobia is bad or real because they just look at a larger person and they're like, you suck, I hate you. Obviously that's bad. Don't do that. That's really rude. And you're the one that really sucks. People are built differently. You don't know anything about how that person's life has gone. And believe it or not, there are good and bad people of every size. So that's kind of level one, right? But I think there's a second level, or multiple different levels too inside that. There are people who understand that fat phobia is bad, but then they also kind of infantilize larger people and look down on them in a way that is patronizing while still preserving the fact that oh, of course I'm against fat phobia. And that's also harmful. This usually accompanies an association of the word fat with bad. Now again, I can't speak for everyone. I can't speak even for my own friends, but I can tell you my experience. And my experience is I do have larger friends, and I have met fat creators who embrace the word as a regular descriptor. It's like saying someone's tall or short. It's not inherently bad or good. It's just a fact of maybe their life. And so seeing someone use the word as an extremely negative way is harmful for everyone. It's harmful for the movement overall. All of this is to say the exact same thing I've been saying all night. If you don't understand something or someone, your first step needs to be acceptance that you will never understand, because you just are not exactly the same as that group of people, or you haven't lived that way the exact same way that they have. Listen, learn, and don't accept apologies not meant for you. And I think that's always a great start. Oh, and of course, surround yourself with good people. Which brings me to my last point of the night. I don't have more cool pictures to show you, but I hope that you appreciate this anyway. I promised tonight to explain to you why everybody deserves a second chance, but not necessarily from you. But that actually has two meanings. A, it means you aren't allowed to accept apologies not meant for you, and you aren't allowed to claim apologies when you're not part of the group affected. But B, I think this can also apply in a broader sense to friendships and relationships overall. The two things we looked at today are kind of mostly about fans looking at celebrities and idolizing them to extent of forgiving them when it's really not your place to do so. And you're also robbing that celebrity of an opportunity to maybe grow and learn from it if they so choose. In your personal life, in your relationships and friendships though, you are going to have problems. I'm sorry, but you will. And some of those relationships are worth fixing, but some of them are simply not. And I think many of us understand that concept, but we fail to understand the concept of forgiving a person or understanding that they will be able to grow, but then also realizing that they don't have to grow anywhere near you. In those cases, that person may deserve a quote second chance of learning to be a better person or just knowing how to communicate better. They can learn to fix relationships or even similar problems with future friendships, but they could do that away from you and away from your space. You are not denying someone's growth by explaining to them kindly that you are not able to be part of their growth at that moment. Not everyone needs to be in your circle and vice versa, and it's important to recognize your own boundaries and comfort levels when it comes to every friendship and relationship. Now, I'm sure there are some of you that are saints out there and you have never wished harm upon another person, but I think most of you are like me. You could think of at least one or two people that you still have a grudge about, can't you? I know, it's that one girl, that one pick-me girl, wasn't it? Oh, she was so annoying. Why did you think she was better than everyone else? Ugh. But when I reel it in at night and I think about it, no, I don't actually want her to be harmed. I just don't want to be around her. And I don't want to see her having a good life or a bad life. I hope she gets what she deserves. And I hope these days she deserves more and she's become a nicer person. But I don't need to be around her. I don't need to see it happen, and I certainly don't need to spend my energy trying to convince her to be that. It's a little similar, although a little slightly different, to the fact that, for example, marginalized communities don't owe you their time to explain why something is racist, largely because no one owes you time or expertise, and also largely because being marginalized is exhausting and they maybe don't want to talk to a stranger about it. So it's a little bit of a parallel in that sense. I realized I didn't say earlier, but as far as I know, I don't think Taylor Swift has said anything about the scale or fatphobia in regards to the Antihero video. I don't know why. I could guess. I bet you could guess too, but nobody really knows except for her. But I just realized I hadn't clarified whether or not that happened earlier. So there you go on that one. And with that being said, I think I'm done preaching at you today. If you haven't been here before, my name is Faye. I am an amusement park clown VTuber. I love games and gaming commentary and VTubing as a medium, and I have opinions. And I think highly of myself and my opinions, but I think that everybody kind of does about themselves. At the end of the day, I want to believe that I'm very aware of the fact that no one is going to have the exact same opinion that I do, and that's okay. A lot of the point of life to me is meeting other people, learning about different opinions, understanding how they got there, and I just think that more of us need to do that. And maybe you can find fun in that too, even if at first you're uncomfortable putting yourself in someone else's shoes in a different way. We are all on different sides of a million fences, so there's always going to be someone that you can learn how to get along with better, and others you can learn to keep away from you when necessary. Thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe. I play a lot of games. I also work in gaming, and I make bad jokes. And that's all. Bye-bye.